Let's talk about the Indiana Teacher and Public Employee Retirement Plan. We consider ourselves to be the expert in this field with over 44 years of experience. We've helped over 250 people retire through the state system, including teachers and public employees. We're also still working with current employees and helping them plan so they have the best retirement possible. Let's talk about the different options. There are two different options that you can choose when you start retirement, and you're locked into those for the rest of your career. This retirement program becomes very complex because the state is using a lot of financial lingo that most of you aren't familiar with. So let's start with the plan that most people have for 2013 and may have chosen from 2013 until the present. And if you're just starting your employment with the state of Indiana, it's very, very, very important that you know exactly which plan you're getting, because it can make a huge difference down the road and you're not allowed to change. The first one we're going to talk about is the hybrid plan. The hybrid plan has two different components. One is called the defined benefit component. The second is called a defined contribution. If you're like me, those terms are so alike, it gets really confusing. It would be easier if they said defined benefit is simply a pension, because that's what it is. As your years of experience and your income go up, so will your pension. The other component, the defined contribution, that's a portion that is much like a 401k. So in this plan, the hybrid plan, you have the two components. Let's just say it's a pension. There's a 401k type plan that either yourself as the employee contribute 3%, or your employer has agreed to pay the 3% that goes into that component. The pension is important because it guarantees you an income when you retire. You're going to get a specific amount depending on how many years of experience you have along with your income. You need 10 years of service to be vested. And that's important. There are three ways in which you can attain full retirement from the pension. Age 65 with 10 years of service, age 60 with 15 years of service, and age 55 with 30 years of service. There is also a Rule 85 where they take your years of service plus your age, and if that equals 85, then you can also have your full retirement benefits from the pension. Although there is a rule that you have to be at least 55 in order to start drawing your full pension. You can also take a reduced pension between the ages of 50 and 59, and that would be determined by the state. There's also a benefit for disability. If you've been in the plan for 5 years and you qualify for Social Security, you can also start drawing pension. There's also a provision called the Millie Morgan. That's available if you're age 65, you can start pulling your full pension and also keep working. So that's always an option if you're not done or you feel like you still have more to give. And we've had several different people that have used this option. Your retirement formula would stop growing, but you would begin getting your retirement and still working at your pay scale. So you would be able to continue to work, draw your pension, and still have your work income plus your pension. Now, that's just the pension side of the hybrid plan. For the example, let's use $60,000 as an average for your best 5 years, and you had 35 years of service. So you take the $60,000 times 35 years of service times the factor of 0.011, and that gives you your annual retirement. That number, if you haven't figured it already, is $23,100. You divide that by 12, which gives you $1,925 a month. Here's the complicated part. If you want to take along a spouse or a loved one, that amount would be reduced, and it would depend on how old the person that you're including is. If they're 10 or 15 years younger, that just takes the probability of the plan lasting a lot longer, and the amount would go down drastically. But that is an option. Now let's talk about the second component to the hybrid plan. And they call that the defined contribution. Complicated because we have a defined benefit, which is a pension. Now we have a defined contribution, which honestly is just like a 401k or a 403b, 100% taxable. It will grow tax deferred, but at the end of the day, that account is 100% taxable to you when you start taking distribution. It's funded through a 3% contribution on your part, or it could be paid by your school system or your employer, or it could be a blend, or the employer could be paying all of it. These accounts attached to the hybrid plan, I've seen on average at age 55 or around $100,000. When you get to age 65, they could be anywhere from 140 to 160,000, and that would depend on how you invested and how those allocations worked for all those years. We think a better choice is to roll that amount out. If it's 100,000, 150,000, put it to work for you in an IRA. No taxation until you start taking distributions, but now you have control and you can put it in safer places so that that money does not go backwards. You've been in a situation through the state where a lot of the safe harbors earn very small interest in most cases, and now you can take that out, put it in a safe place, and make sure that it's there for you when you need it. So there's still a lot more to the hybrid plan, but that's the basic part of the hybrid plan, the two components. And now we're going to talk about the My Choice plan. I'm going to simplify that again because the My Choice plan is much like the component that's in the hybrid plan. It's basically a 401k. It's funded through 3% of your contribution, and the state will also add money to that, but it's on a fluctuating basis. Their contribution will be anywhere from 0 to 4.4%, and that will be declared once a year. Where I would really recommend this plan is if you knew you weren't going to put 10 years in to the state of Indiana, maybe you had a 2 or 3 or 4 year timeline in which you were going to work for the state. This would be a way that you could put that money away and not worry about the 10-year vesting. This does have a 5-year vesting period, and it goes like this. 100% of the money that you contribute is available to you. In year 1, the amount that the state put in, you would be 20% vested. In year 2, you would be 40% vested. Year 3, you would be 60% vested. Year 4, 80% vested. And after that 5th year, you'd be 100% vested. So not only your contributions, but the contributions the state made would be available to you 100%. And then you could roll that out into an IRA so that you could take your distribution. And they would be 100% taxable. So those are your two choices in a nutshell: the hybrid plan, which has the pension and the 401k attached. And then you have the My Choice, which is the 401k. And I'd really recommend that if you weren't going to put in the 10 years to vest on the hybrid plan. Whether you watch this for yourself or for a loved one, I highly recommend that you find someone to help you navigate these systems. It's only in your best interest to start as early as possible, because then there's more ways that we can pivot and we can project out what your retirement income would be. This is complicated. Please don't try to do it on your own, especially if we're not going to charge you. I don't understand why people don't look for people to help them with their personal finance. It's a mystery to me, and any of our team members are willing and able to help you navigate all of these different components. It gets very complex, and we do have to have all the parts working together in harmony so that we can maximize what you get as a return on your retirement. So thank you for watching. If you want to get in touch with us, please contact us at tolmenfinancial.com, or if you'd like to attend one of our workshops, go to tolmenfinancial.com/million. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you soon.